Good evening and welcome into another episode of Sportszone. I'm your host, Justin Ballou. Last weekend, the Mean Green went down to Houston and took down the Rice Owls in overtime by a score of 30-24 to move to 2-6 on the season. This weekend, the Mean Green will look to make it 2 straight wins on the road as they take on Southern Miss. Now, joining me to break down Saturday's game are analysts Nicholas Ogele and Chris Adams. How are we doing, guys?
Doing well.
I'm great.
Well, last weekend's game was by no means pretty, but it goes down as UNT's second win of the season. Chris, takeaways from last weekend's game.
To me, the big thing was this defense has got it going. They're in the zone now. We had Katie Davis with 18 tackles, which is very impressive, most by UNT players since at least 2000. And then you got guys like Noville and the Murphy twins also doing really good on defense.
Yeah.
Thoughts, Nicholas?
Like the most recent James Bond movie I saw, it was the worst, best thing ever. UNT got a win, but neither team was good, let's be honest. UNT wasn't good, but they were just worse.
We'll take it this year, though, right? Is this a win that we can use as motivation moving forward, do you think, Nicholas?
I think, you have to. You have to take that as motivation. It's the first win since since week one.
Yeah.
So you got to take that and run with it where you can. You saw, I don't know if you also, Latrell dancing in the middle and everything. So he's running with it. So, yes, I'll take that as motivation for sure.
Well, one positive from this season and from last week's game has been the run game. Last week, Austin Awney led the way in the rushing category with 65 yards, almost 11 yards a carry. Running backs DeAndre Torrey and Isaiah Johnson got in on the action with a rushing touchdown on their own. And how about the freshman walk-on, Ayo Adeyi, getting 2 rushing touchdowns of his own in this ball game? Chris, how excited should Mean Green fans be about this run game?
Oh, they should be so excited. It's been a fantastic group. DeAndre Torrey has been amazing. Adeyi's been great. I got to shout out running backs coach Patrick Cobbs because he's done a great job with this unit.
Making it run.
Well, in last weekend's game, UNT attempted 22 passes versus 43 rush attempts. Nicholas, is it safe to say we are a running team on offense?
I mean, it's safe to say that we should be because we don't have a pass offense or a pass play that we can seemingly run to any consistency. But like you said, Ani was the leading rusher with 65 yards. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's good because we won, but he's not Lamar Jackson or anything with it. He's not like that shifty or anything. He's good. He has both. He has a dual threat quarterback, but that is nothing you should hold high about.
But at least he gets the necessary yards, right? And that's really what matters. Well, DeAndre Torrey, the running back, is 10th in the nation in rushing yards and leading Conference USA in rushing yards per game at 112 yards a game. Now, he had a rushing touchdown in that game, like I mentioned, but he went down early with an injury, and that's why Isaiah Johnson and Ayo Adeyi got so much action. Now, how big of a blow would it be if Torrey has to miss time, Chris?
It would be a bit of a blow, but you know, Adeyi's got a touchdown in each of the last 3 games, and he got the game-winning touchdown last week. And Attaway went down early before the season even started. And to me, this UNT's running back room is just next man up.
Based off what you've seen, Nicholas, from Ayo Adeyi and Isaiah Johnson, can these two handle the load if Torrey has to miss time?
Definitely. I think Torrey's been leading the charge. I think we've been running back by committee, though, this entire season. I've been Mr. Negative this whole time, so this is my positive take for today. Yes, I think they can handle the workload while he's gone.
Well, the Mean Green head over to Hattiesburg, Mississippi to take on the 1-7 Southern Miss Golden Eagles this weekend. Now, this is a team that has only won 1 game, and it came against Grambling in week 2, the Southern Miss team. Now, they have played a tough schedule. They played at Alabama. They had a tough non-conference schedule. I asked the analysts this question on last weekend's show, and they said it was this week's game. But is this week's game the most winnable game we've had since week 1?
Oh, yeah. They are the lowest scoring offense in the nation. They have pretty much no passing game. So you just stop Frank Gore Jr. and you're good.
Yeah, if you think we were on a quarterback carousel, they are definitely on a quarterback carousel. They're on their 3rd quarterback, I believe. He can throw the mess up the ball. He's been throwing for three bills a couple of games, but like he's throwing lots of interceptions. He's not consistent, throwing off his back foot a lot. So I think this is our best chance for sure. They're a lot like our team in the fact that they haven't won a game in so long. We just got our first win, so I think that'll carry over to this one.
So based off what you guys are saying, it sounds like you're confident in UNT's chances, right?
Definitely.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
Somewhat. I'm not going to put money on it, but yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So who needs to step up for the Mean Green? Who are some impact players we're looking at? If Torrey goes down, you don't have him anymore, so maybe the running backs, who are we looking at?
I'm looking at Adeyi because if Torrey's not able to play, he needs to step up and fill that role in.
I'm looking at Ani, and I'm also looking at the play calling. So if we need to get more creative. I know I said this last time I was here. We need to get more creative with the offense, and if we can throw the ball, unlock something in the passing game.
So 2-6 UNT, 1-7 Southern Miss. What are the keys to the game here, real quick, Nicholas?
Keys to the game, you got to run the ball, of course. Got to put the ball. Like, if Torrey's not back, I don't know the severity of his injury, but if he's not back, I do believe Adai and Johnson can carry the running game along. So.
Well, UNT will take on Southern Miss at 2 o'clock on Saturday. The Dallas Cowboys are also back at home this Sunday. We'll preview their matchup coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back into Sportszone. The Dallas Cowboys are back at home this week for the first time in nearly a month as the Denver Broncos roll into town. Now joining me to break down Sunday's game are analysts Brendan O'Donnell and Alec Rapp. Guys, before we dive into this weekend's game, let's flip the page back to last weekend's game against the Vikings. The Cowboys kept Dak Prescott out of that game with that calf injury that he suffered a couple weeks ago against the Patriots. Now, while this injury is not believed to be serious or season-ending, the Cowboys are clearly thinking about the long-term consequences of starting Dak while he's still hurt. So without taking the actual results of the game, what happened in the game, into account, what did you think of the decision to sit Dak, Alec?
Well, I think this was an important decision that the Cowboys needed to make. Michelle Tafoya talked about this on the sideline, that this was about a 4-week injury. Similar to Michael Gallup's, this is your starting quarterback. I mean, this is your guy. We saw what the Cowboys did last year without Dak Prescott. I think it was the right move to make, sitting him, because in the long run, yeah, the NFC is going to be close all year, but I'd rather have Dak in the playoffs than Cooper Rush.
And at this point, I mean, we're 3.5 games ahead of any other NFC East team.
Exactly.
So NFC East is already won. Now it's just about seeding. If we really want that number 1 seed, we're going to see Aaron Rodgers is out this week, so the Packers could lose it. The Cardinals just lost to a Packers team that was missing 11 starters. So the Cowboys are looking pretty hot right now, with or without Dak.
So Brendan, at this point, how concerned are you about Dak's health?
I'm not concerned about it. If you want Dak to have amazing stats and win MVP, for sure, we want Dak to play. He's still in the shot for MVP. He has 18 touchdowns on the year, which is more than most quarterbacks with 1 or 2 more games than him. But in the long run, we definitely need Dak. So if we sit him for the next 2 weeks, we should be fine going against the Broncos and the Falcons.
Well, what a sigh of relief it must have been for Cowboys fans to see a backup quarterback playing well after everything that happened last year with the backups after Dak went down. You mentioned it, Alec. Cooper Rush got the start for the Cowboys in this game and led them to a come-from-behind 20-16 win over the Vikings. Now, given that Dak isn't 100% and given how well Cooper Rush just played, Alex, should the Cowboys start Cooper Rush again?
Should they start him? If Dak isn't totally 100% ready, I think so, because this is a Denver Broncos team that is not good. Teddy Bridgewater, yes, a couple years ago when we played the Saints, Did really well against Dallas. That's not going to happen this week. But Dak's ready to go. He's been practicing. He's a full go. Dak Prescott is going to be playing this week, so there's really no conversation, I think.
I agree.
Brendan, assuming he does start, what does the offensive game plan look like? Do you expect a heavier dose of the run game?
Oh, definitely. We're going to have a lot of the run game involved, and I think we need to take what we're given. This is a team that hasn't won against somebody who scored 17 or more points on them. If we can just get to 17 points, we're good. Our defense is good enough to hold them to 14 or less, and we usually score 32 a game, so we should be fine. Take field goals if you need to. We don't need to run quarterback sneaks with Dak on 4th and 1, 4th and 2. Let's keep him off the field and just take the field goals and take what we're given.
Well, after Dak was announced to be out last week, most people wrote the Cowboys off in this game and didn't really give them a chance to win. They go into a hostile environment in Minnesota and take down the red-hot Vikings with a star-studded offense. Now, we had this debate on the show last week, but with Tampa Bay and Arizona losing this past week and with the Cowboys winning without Dak Prescott, are the Cowboys the best team in the NFC, Alec?
Oh, man. You know, I want to channel the rational side of me, but I'm not going to do that because the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC.
100%.
And I don't think it's even close. The LA Rams, they're good, but they have some serious weaknesses. The Cowboys' only weakness right now is Mike McCarthy, their head coach, because this guy does not know how to manage a clock to save his life. If it comes down to a game in a big playoff scenario and we have to rely on Mike McCarthy's clock management, we're losing the game.
No, Brendan, you said they were the best team in the NFC last week, so I assume that...
I am sticking with it. The guy with me last week, he said it was going to be the Cardinals, and we saw that they lost that exact night. And I was sticking with the Cowboys, and I believe they really are. We'll have to see how Von Miller does with the Rams. That'll be interesting to see if he can pick up that defense that is struggling this year when they were number 1 last year. But yeah, Cowboys going all the way. I believe it.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this NFC playoff picture plays out later down the road. This weekend will be Dallas's salute to service game, and let's check out this helmet that they will be sporting this weekend against the Broncos. The helmet includes a red, white, and blue stripe down the middle to signify America's colors. This will actually be the first time since 1976 that the Cowboys are wearing this helmet, and they're going against a Broncos team that comes in 4-4, have lost 3 out of their last 4 games. Coming into this game. So what is the key to getting a win in these nice-looking helmets against the Broncos, Brendan?
They are some nice helmets, but I think we need to pressure Teddy Bridgewater. He's very good when he's in the pocket and he's comfortable. Last week we had 10 quarterback hits and 1 sack, which is good. We just need to get to those sacks and keep the quarterback hits going on, keep the pressure, because Teddy Bridgewater's thrown 5 interceptions in the last 4 weeks. So if we have him throwing picks and being uncomfortable, I am not afraid of this offense one bit.
Alec, keys to the game?
Yeah, I want to go back to that helmet first of all. I love that helmet. 1976, last time they wore it, the bicentennial. Roger Staubach was the quarterback. Little fun tidbit, the following year they played the Broncos in the Super Bowl and beat them. Anyway, keys to the game. If the Cowboys want to win this game, they need to protect whoever is behind center. The Denver Broncos have the number 9 rushing defense in the country, the number 10 passing defense in the country. Tyron Smith will not be playing this week. Terrence Steele at left tackle. Lyle Collins is going to be at right tackle. You got to protect whoever's behind center.
Well, the Cowboys and the Broncos will be going at it on Sunday at noon. A new champion has been crowned in baseball. We'll recap this year's World Series coming up next. back into Sportszone. The Atlanta Braves are the 2021 World Series champions. They took down the Houston Astros in 6 games to clinch their first World Series title since 1995. Now, joining me to break down the World Series are analysts Garrett Stringfellow and Alec Rapp. Guys, what a season and what a run this was for the Atlanta Braves. They lost their superstar outfielder, Ronald Acuna, back in July to a torn ACL. And at this point, most people wrote this team off, especially with the star-studded Phillies sitting right there in the NL East division. Without getting over 500 until August 6th, the Braves fought their way into winning the NL East title, got into the postseason, and in the postseason, without home field advantage, took down the Brewers, Dodgers, and Astros. Garrett, how impressive was this Braves run?
It was incredible. Now, let me get something out of the way real quick. Let's just acknowledge all our biases, shall we?
Oh, of course.
I'm a hometown kid. I was born and raised in Braves country, and I don't think it would be a service to you guys to let you know. Just come in, I'm not biased. I am biased, okay? Braves for life. World
You got to
Series.
update that with the patch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm putting one on there. World Series champions. Let's talk about it. Lost Mike Soroka for the 2nd straight year due to a setback with his Achilles. Lost Marcell Ozuna due to the domestic violence charges. Atlanta played 500 ball for the first 4 months of the year. Then Acuna got hurt. They were playing 500 ball before Acuna got hurt. Then lost the next day, went into the All-Star break 44-45. There's only 2 teams in MLB history that have won the World Series going negative into the All-Star break. Only other team, I don't have that information, but they're the only 2nd team ever. Didn't go over 500, like you said, until August 6th at 57-56. How did they overcome these challenges, you ask? Well, Austin Riley emerged as an MVP candidate. Max Fried emerged as an ace, of course, added Mike Soroka to that rotation. Ozzie Albies and Freddie Freeman consistent in the lineup and on defense. Trade deadline acquisitions. I'm sure we're going to get to it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, you bring up a good point. That trade deadline was insane for the Atlanta Braves. They bring in Jock Peterson from the Cubs, he brought a swagger to this team with the pearl necklace, but also just a phenomenal outfielder. They bring in Jorge Soler from the Royals, the World Series MVP right there. They bring in Eddie Rosario, who was the NLCS MVP.
And let's talk about Jorge Soler before he came to the Braves. He hit 192 in 13 home runs in 94 games when he was playing for the Royals. In his time with the Braves, what was it? I think it's 54 games, something like that. Way less. Hit 269. 14 home runs, more home runs in his time in Atlanta than in Kansas City.
Definitely. And I mean, he was phenomenal this World Series. He hit 3 home runs.
Absolutely.
I mean, the guy was an absolute baller. He hit that one in Game 6 out of the Soler system.
Oh,
you want to call it that? 466. Absolutely smoked that home run. He took the life out of Minute Maid Park and silenced Houston fans for the rest of the night.
He was named World Series MVP too,
Yes.
Jorge Soler was. He batted 300 in the World Series. You mentioned the 3 home runs, 6 RBIs. Did we agree with Jorge Soler getting that award, or should it have been somebody else, Garrett?
Oh, I mean, absolutely you have to give it to Jorge Soler. I mean, the energy he brought to the team. I mean, just think about that at bat in Game 6. Crucial at bat.
Yeah.
Like, we saw something from Soler we didn't often see. He was patient. He took pitches. Like, he got to a 3-ball count, and then Houston started throwing him strikes. Fouled off what he couldn't handle, and then finally got a pitch he liked, and God bless him, he did not miss it.
Yeah, and he was the first player in MLB history to start a World Series Game 1 hitting a home run.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
First
he
leadoff home run.
started things off right away saying, I'm taking this one. We're taking the Braves Game 1.
Well, when you think of the Atlanta Braves, you think of Freddie Freeman. He was a guy that was drafted by the Braves in 2007 and has spent his entire career in Atlanta. He leads the team in most statistical categories, finished the postseason with 5 home runs, 11 RBIs, including that home run in the 7th inning to cap off that Game 6 clinching win for Atlanta. How special must this have been for Freddie Freeman?
I mean, it's got to be huge. I mean, to be with Atlanta for so long and just kind of always been the stalwart of that franchise.
Yeah.
When you think of the Atlanta Braves, you think of Freddie Freeman.
Exactly.
And it's just got to, I mean, his smile during the postgame said it all. I think it was Buster Olney came up to him and he said, Freddie, you guys are World Series champions. What do you mean to you? And a huge smile. Freddie said, those are the best words you could ever say. And I think that just says it all. And I think if you're Alex Anthopoulos, one, huge credit to you for bringing this team to what they are, those moves at the trade deadline. Nobody thought you could do it. But give Freddie Freeman a blank check.
Yeah,
Whatever you want,
much.
Freddie. Sign on the dotted line.
I think he's going to end up signing a contract, being a lifer, kind of like Mike Trout. And you mentioned it, when you think of the Atlanta Braves, I think there was that transition. You think of Atlanta Braves, okay, it's Chipper Jones. And now you think of the Atlanta Braves, it's Freddie Freeman. 5-time All-Star, drafted in 2007, made his debut 2010, the MVP in the NL last year. I mean, I'm just so happy for this guy, to come in and finally get his ring.
Well, as you can attest to, Garrett, most likely, Atlanta has been a sports city that has suffered so much heartbreak. The Braves win the World Series now for the first time in 26 years. Real quick, what does this mean for Atlanta?
The curse is broken. The Atlanta curse is broken. The Braves curse is broken. I mean, hadn't been to the World Series since 1999. Everyone counted Atlanta out. I went and looked. MLB.com before the playoffs had 11 pundits predict the playoffs.
Yeah.
Only 4 predicted the Braves would get past the Brewers. Only 1 predicted the Braves would win the pennant. And nobody predicted the Braves to win the whole thing. ESPN had 13 experts pick the conference championship winners. 11 of the 13 picked the Dodgers to beat the Braves. Nobody picked the Braves to win the whole thing.
Well, a Cinderella run all the way to the finish for the Atlanta Braves as they clinched their first World Series since 1995. The UNT volleyball team has their sights set on a title of their own in the near future. Stay with us for more on UNT volleyball. Of both the soccer and volleyball teams are as well. Here to break down UNT volleyball and soccer are analysts Andres Zayas and Brandon Brown. Guys, let's start with the Mean Green soccer team, who has officially finished up their season. UNT went 8-4 overall 8-5-4 overall this year, and 3-3-2 in conference play. They finished the season 5th in the Western Division. Now, the Mean Green season came to an end this past week in the conference tournament. First round, 1-0 in double overtime on an own goal. How heartbreaking was this finish, Andres?
I mean, it's double overtime. The game has so much at stake. It's something that is, I imagine is very heartbreaking. I think like the cherry on top of just how disappointing it is just the fact that we lost on an own goal, 3 minutes away from the PK. So I know that's something that a lot of the players can probably just beat themselves up for it, but at the same time, still team of champions, I'd say, But at the same time, it is a very heartbreaking result to end the season on. So.
I mean, this was anybody's game up until that very end, and just to have it all taken away like that, it's just crushing.
It is.
It's crushing.
Well, this soccer team, as it usually does, had really high expectations coming into the season. They returned almost all of their starters and on almost all of their production from a season ago. They get the extra COVID year out of Brooke Lampy, and they get the transfer goalkeeper, Sarah Fuller, from Vanderbilt. Now, we've talked a lot on this show about this team all season long, and we've just been waiting for them to click on offense and score some goals. And now we're at the end of the season, and it just never seemed to happen. Andres, what went wrong for this team on offense, and what needs to fix for the future?
There's just no composure, consistency, I'd say. I mean, that's just one thing. I don't really know what it is that's going on inside, like in the locker room when it comes to that. Maybe there just needs to be like a reevaluation on the schemes that need to be in place to really make the most out of the team's needs and abilities. But I mean, I think that's just one thing. There's just no consistency or composure on the offensive side. So
they generated a lot of shots this year. They just weren't able to score goals. Brandon, what do you think contributed to the fact that they just couldn't get one in the net?
I think they just need some sort of better offensive scheme. I mean, they had 13 games where it was 2 or less points. That cannot happen. That cannot repeat for next year. They need a better offensive scheme. The coaches need to come together, have a meeting about how this is not working and need to rebuild some schemes. I think maybe also some younger people can kind of step up a little bit. I know a lot of this team it's a little bit of a younger team, but a lot of these older people were kind of stepping up.
Yeah.
We need the younger people to kind of step up on offense, especially to help contribute better as a team moving forward.
Well, soccer is always one sport that UNT fans can look forward to be competitive every single year under head coach John Hedlund. And given the success of teams under John Hedlund, a 5th place finish in the division and a first round loss in the conference tournament seems like a disappointing ending to the season. How do they get back on track next season, Brandon?
I don't think. I think they have pieces right now. I think like maybe a reload is necessary, not quite a rebuild, but like I just said, I mean, we just need these younger people to step up. I mean, this is like a team that could have a lot of potential and a lot of possibility to really move far moving forward, and they really just need to recognize that potential, really step up better as a team, maybe work on team chemistry, and really just step up. I mean, we've got this.
So soccer is done, but the Mean Green volleyball team has a big week coming up. This is how the standings look right now in Conference USA volleyball. North Texas sits at 15-9 on the season, 7-3 in conference play, which is good for 2nd in the West Division. Now, 2 games remaining this season. UNT goes to UTEP this weekend, only needing 1 win to clinch that 2nd spot in the division. Now, knowing that they only have to win 1 out of 2 games, what is the team's mindset like going into this series, Andres?
I mean, lock in, make little to no mistakes, and just play the style that they play. I mean, they're 8-1 in their last 9. I mean, they're riding off momentum here. They're a confident group of players. I think that's what it is. You just need to like be on the same wavelength, communicate well, and at the same time, just play their style that has gotten them to this point. So,
What do you think, Brandon?
Well, I think they're undefeated at home, at away games, which is nice, and both of these upcoming games are away, so that'll be a nice kind of momentum builder in the locker room. But yeah, even though UTEP, I would say, is a favored team, I definitely think UNT can come out with 1 win because they haven't gone a lot of games without losing one or without winning one. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've never really had a losing streak this season.
Yeah.
They've always been able to kind of rebound it when they've lost a few. So I feel like getting 1 definitely doable, and I would say expected.
What needs to happen for them to get 1 win, Brandon?
They just really need to be fearsome on offense. I know they have been an effective offense thus far, but if you watch the last series, their defense kind of slipped towards the end. Their last game, they only won by 2 points, I believe. So they really need to lock up that defensive play, make sure that that stays consistent throughout this series that they're about to go through. And I think if they do that, combined with their offense that's already fearsome, already effective, I think they can really pull out a win or 2 here.
What do you think, Andres?
I mean, just let Red Robinson feast. I mean, I think she's one player that can just really win it all, like herself. Just she's a very talented player. I think she has around like 426 kills for the season. And UNT overall is just a pretty athletic and sound team, I'd say, offensively. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're also 3rd in kills in the Conference USA. But UTEP is no joke. UTEP is no joke. I know they're a team that leads categories themselves. So that's just one thing. I mean, I think you start out hot early, really communicate and gain that confidence as games goes on. Because, I mean, like I said, UTEP, no joke of a team. I think, you have to have the advantage early is what it is, and have them play catch up. So.
Well, the Mean Green will head out to El Paso to take on the UTEP Lady Miners on Saturday at 2 o'clock and Sunday at 1, only needing 1 win to finish 2nd in the West Division. That's all for us here on Sportszone. Make sure to catch us again on Tuesday at 5:30 and stay tuned for NTTV News coming up next.